Folks, if you ever wanted to grill a steak that's tender, juicy, and loaded with flavor, today is your lucky day. We're taking this flank steak, soaking it in a cowboy marinade, and finishing it with a bright, zesty chimichurri sauce. We're making cowboy flank steak the right way. Now before we get to cooking, let's talk about the flank steak and where it comes from. This cut deserves a little spotlight time. Flank steak comes from the beef's underside, near the belly, what's called the flank primal. It sits between the brisket in the front and the round in the back by the hind leg. That means it's a muscle that's been put to work all day long, supporting the beef's core and helping it walk and breathe. Now you can see these long grain of muscle fiber that is running here, long strands all the way through. Now, that's really what gives it its rich, beefy flavor. But if you don't treat this right, this thing can be tougher than boot leather. But we're going to show you how to make it so tender, you'll be wanting it every day. Now, this flank steak works hard. It does. And it is a very versatile piece of meat that you can have when you're grilling it, cooking it, pan frying it, whatever you do. But hey, if you slice this thing thin, you got it seasoned just right, it makes the best fajitas in the world. Or you can just slice it into little strips, fry it on a skillet, and what? Put it in a steak salad, but it also makes great sandwiches if you treat it right. Now back in old Cookie's time in the chuck wagon going down the trail, if they had some flank steak, he knew what? It cooked fast and it kept them fed. On the trail, Cowboy Cook might have seared that flank steak right over mesquite coals and sliced it thin for what they called trail steak. Flavor came first and time was short, so a quick cooking flavorful cut like this was worth its weight in gold. Now the biggest tip I got for you when you're going to cook this flank steak is number one, you got to have a great marinade because it needs to break down just a little. But the most important thing of all is you slice it against the grain. You can see this grain is running this way. Always slice it against the grain. It's not straight across here, it's diagonal across this way. That way it's going to shorten them grains and every bite is going to be tender. Now, beef is high when you go to the grocery store and you're shopping. But folks, when you treat this right and cook this right, it is cheaper than a ribeye, cheaper than a New York strip, and just as much flavor if you get her done right. Now, when we're talking marinade, you really think of a marinade something that's going to give flavor but also break down muscle fiber to make meat more tender. Now, I've started using a lot of buttermilk, and that may shock some of you, but listen to me. Lactic acid. Yes, lactic acid is going to help break down this meat to make it tender, but what? There's also something in there you can think of. Well, it is the milk fat proteins that are in here that are going to give it more of a tender moisture taste as it cooks. So we're starting out with buttermilk. And I'm going to pour about, I'd say that much in there. Now, after that, we're going to go with the W sauce. I ain't even going to try to say the word because y'all are always correcting me. Whoa, that come out a little faster than I thought it might, but it'll be just right. A little soy, not much, about like that. Some smoked paprika because I really like the flavor that it brings out. And last but not least, there's two things left. That is olive oil. And we gotta have some garlic in there. We get the gun loaded. Whoa, that one jumped in. Pretty simple, pretty easy it is. Now you could do this in a large freezer Ziploc bag, but I'm just gonna do it in this bowl right here. But we are gonna turn it over and over for a little bit, if I can get a hold of it. Oh. This is why I cook outdoors most times. Shan won't let me in the house. We're gonna give it one more flip if we can get it out of there without making a mess, and let that buttermilk do its job. I'm gonna cover this, slide it in the ice box, and I'll see y'all back in 4 hours. Well, it soaked in that buttermilk exactly 4 hours it did. Rinsed it off there under the sink just a little, and we are gonna pat it dry. So, change colors a little. That's that lactic acid and that milk, butter, fat that's getting in there in that protein. Now I'm going to season with our mesquite and our rib rub. You use your favorite barbecue rub or all-purpose rub, salt, pepper, garlic powder, whatever you got. But we're going to season from up high, you get a better coverage. And we are going to mix them both. Give it a little pat now and tell it to do a good job. Good game, that's what we're talking about. Now we're going to flip it right over, do this side. I really like that mesquite and rib rub together. The mesquite has a little ancho chili in it, but the rib rub also has just a little chili powder in it. Brings out a great flavor. I'll meet y'all over at the fire. Well, we got the hasty bake prepped up. All the coals are on this end, and it's just hardwood lump right now. So we're going to put the flank steak down here on this end. It's a little sizzle going on there. But we got him way away from the coals. We're going to shut the lid, add us 2 little chunks of mesquite, shut the door, going to let it get a smoke bath for about 15 minutes and warm up, and then we're going to finish it over a hot, blazing fire. We preheated this grill, cooled off just a little with the lid open, but we're going to target that temperature at about 325 to 350. That's on this hot end. Down here, probably not that hot. We get it up to about 350 because when we get ready to sear that thing, we want a hot, hot fire to finish. About halfway through that 15-minute mark, I flipped that flank steak over down there on indirect heat. Now, we've got to about 15 minutes, but I do need to add some more mesquite down here. I'm gonna spread that out just a little because when I get it down here on this end, I want it to be a fire and I want it to be hot. So we're gonna add some more of this mesquite, let it catch a hold, and then we'll move it down here. We added more fire. We're gonna give it a little air, let it get to licking. I lowered that fire down. Now, when we put this over here and go to cooking on the direct side of the heat, don't think you can't flip it multiple times back and forth. You've heard me say it many times, flip it, flip it, flip it, but don't flip it on the ground because Sadie will get it, she sure will. We're gonna cook this to 125 degrees. I'll use the chef temps to check it, but I have got a tip for you. You can't be checking a thin piece of meat this way. You have to come from the middle and go keep it in the middle. Because see, you can see we've warmed up to 115 degrees, so we just got to get 10 degrees worth of heat on it and give it a good, good hot fire. So over it goes right now. Let them flames go to licking. One of my most favorite parts is coming up, and that is basting it with that chimichurri sauce. Back in the 1800s, gauchos were the South American cousins of the American cowboy. They lived on horseback, cooked over open fires, and took great pride in their beef. Chimichurri was their signature sauce, fresh, fast, and full of flavor. Now, when we're talking about flank steak, I'm talking about a good chimichurri sauce that goes with it. I'm talking about all the way back flavors from South America. Them gauchos down there when they was working cattle, come in, got that flank steak, throw it over a hot fire. You gotta have this chimichurri sauce to baste it with right there at the end, but also to dip it in when you eat it. This needs to set about 3 hours before you ever use it. Let all them flavors meld together. I like to not wait until Shannon got the camera back on because the aroma that you just get off the chimichurri, but after it hits that hot fire, whew. Now you be careful when you see me basting right there at the end, because that olive oil that's in there is going to drip down. It's going to go like that. It'll send you eyebrows if you're too close, but you can back it off there just a little, baste it. But when you put it back over and you get that instant rush of fire up over the top, it just helps everything feel better. It does. Now, I'm thinking that's just about the right color for me. So I'm just going to do this traditional style.
You can tell that's tender.
So good it is. Woo. When you go to that grocery store and you're going down that meat aisle, don't overlook the flank steak. Take that rascal home with you. Prepare it this way. Slice it thin after you got it out of that marinade and grilled it. It is so tasty it is. And like I said, this can be served like this. Can be on a sandwich. Can be in a salad. You won't have leftovers. I'm not going to tell you you're going to have any because you're not. But it is with great pride, honor, and privilege that I tip my hat to that flag and all the servicemen and women and all the veterans that have kept it flying. But come on in here now, get close, because I got some things I want to share with you. We appreciate each and every one of you watching these videos. Be sure and give it a like, be sure and share it with your neighbor, and subscribe. But also, if some of you going through hard times, don't forget to reach out to your neighbor, reach out to us. We'll lift you up in prayer, because it ain't no step for a stepper to get over the last step. God bless you, each and every one, and I'll see you down the flank steak trail with the chimichurri sauce. I want to thank y'all today for keeping everybody safe. You just woke up. Why do you think you need to be first? Little Snouse? Woo-woo? Snouse, since you worked the hardest, and this one's for me.